this is Mira Patel, and I'm the chapter accountant, and I handle all of the questions that come from chapters and treasurers related to financials, certificate of insurance, anything of that nature you would be contacting me for. And today we're going to be going over finance headlines. Our agenda for today is going through the treasurer roles, banking, contracts, certificate of insurance, chapter credit cards, fiscal year-end financial packages, 1099s, chapter rebates. We're going to do a quick walkthrough of the chapter accounting software, which is QuickBooks Online, and then a little walkthrough through the chapter leaders resources website. To start off, we're going to be going over the treasurer roles. For the treasurer roles, you want to act as the main financial contact for the chapter. You want to attend all meetings of the executive committee, chapter's annual meeting, chapter board meetings, and just maintain accurate financials, files, and record keeping per the APWA policy. Other treasurer roles that you want to keep in mind is keeping custody of all chapter banking and investment records, maintain chapter bookkeeping on a monthly or quarterly basis at a minimum, just so you're not falling behind. Maintain and accurately record your chapter's vendor records and bill payments. And most importantly, you want to process and submit all required fiscal year-end financial reporting and 1099s when they're due. The next topic we're covering is banking. Banking, you want to make sure that if you're wanting to open up a new account, you follow the corporate banking resolution, which can be found on the CLR site. This is a great document to provide to your bank manager. They'll have all the information they need to open up that account for you. It'll have the signed W-9 form, articles of incorporation, the federal EIN, and things of that nature. Other things to note for banking purposes, you want to make sure you have Scott Grayson on all of your bank accounts. That goes for chapter and branch accounts. He's the only executive director that needs to be on the account because he can only sign for our EIN number. So he needs to be on every chapter and branch bank account. Also, Scott is the only person that can sign the W-9 form. So no chapter or branch will have a separate W-9 form. The W-9 form has to have American Public Works Association without the chapter name, and it has to have the Kansas City, Missouri address on it. The next topic we're covering is contracts. You want to submit contract to National for review prior to your signing. If the contract is $10,000 or more, you do want to send it over to the chapter accountant to review, just so that you're not going against anything that our lawyers have recommended us not to follow. If the contract is between $5,000 to $10,000, and you can provide a copy, but regardless of the amount, you can will more than happily review that contract for you to make sure all the terms and clauses are accurate to APWA's policy. The next topic we're covering is certificate of insurance. This goes along the same lines as contracts because your contract will state if a COI is required. APWA does have a general liability policy that covers most chapter activities, but the contract will note if more insurance is required. If a COI is required per the contract, you will need to fill out a COI request form and submit it to the chapter accountant within 7 to 10 business days. This is just to ensure that our broker has enough time to process and for me to give it back to you guys. The next topic we're covering is chapter credit card payments. Chapter credit card payments are processed twice a month. the 1st and 16th of the month. Not every chapter utilizes this service. It's not a required service that APWA National tells the chapters that they must use. It's completely up to the chapter for them to use, but if you have any registrations and you want National to be responsible to taking those funds in for you guys, then we provide that service to you and we'll disperse those funds out to the chapters twice a month, which is the 1st and 16th of the month. And you want to make sure that if the address does change, please send it in as soon as possible so the checks are being sent to the correct address. The next topic we're covering is fiscal year-end financial package. This is one of the main things that we ask for chapter treasurers and branch treasurers to fill out. The fiscal year financial package reviews all. You want to make sure that you review all spreadsheets and documents required prior to fiscal year-end deadline. Meet with your prior treasurer to help you better understand what you need to keep track of. And I also want to reiterate, keep a monthly tracking system. I've created one for you guys on the statement of activities, but if you have one for yourself, then I recommend you use a monthly tracking system just so when it's time to submit your financial package at the end of the fiscal year, you're not waiting till that last month to fill out a whole year's worth of data. And then you also want to make sure that you use checks and credit cards for payments and not cash for chapter and branch activities. The first package of the document is the chapter financial reports checklist. You want to make sure you send this checklist in with all your financial reporting package. Regardless if you send one report in at a time, you still want to submit this in every time just to make sure that everything's accounted for. And you want to submit all the forms in the same format as it was sent to the chapters. So please don't convert your Excel worksheets into PDF. At the end of the fiscal year end, we have to convert those PDFs back into Excel for the auditors to review. So it's better if you submit it the same way that we send it to you, which is in Excel. The next topic we're covering is the fiscal year-end budget. You want to make sure that you set up goals and plan to understand where your chapter and branches want to go financially. Keep in mind the account codes that you use throughout the fiscal year end to help create a budget for your following fiscal year. This is one of the required documents that you would need to submit with your fiscal year end financial package. The next document that's required is the statement of financial position. This one's pretty straightforward. Calculates your total assets, your total liabilities, and your net assets. And you want to make sure that you don't convert this into PDF. You want to keep this in an Excel format. And the statement of activities, this is one of the big ones where you want to make sure that you're keeping a monthly track of, or at a minimum, a quarterly track of, just so you're not falling behind. You want to maintain and keep track of details and breakdowns on a monthly or quarterly basis. Make sure you get proper information such as address, contact name, proper company name at the time of the registration for any vendors or sponsors. Record and reconcile receipts from ticket sales, registrations, exhibit space sales. Ensure recorded amounts on your statement of activity matches the IRS schedules and your worksheet. This is what the revenue side of the statement activities looks like. We did have a few account code changes after we reviewed it with our auditors, and so it's more broken down. We added a rebates account code to not make it blend in with our miscellaneous account, and I've added in what schedules and worksheets that are required for each line item that there's an amount recorded in. And this is a statement of activities expenses side. We've added quite a few account codes here just to break it down even more for the auditors and for us to file the IRS Form 990 accurately, and we're not having to go back to the chapter to request more information at the end. So this is one of the IRS forms that is required for the IRS Form 990 filing and part of your financial reporting package. This one, if you have any amounts in your account, 490, 491, or 495, which is sponsorship and cash donations, you want to make sure you fill out this form accurately. And please fill out line 60 if contribution sponsorship payments were less than $1,000. You want to make sure the recorded amount on your SOA matches the IRS schedules. And you want to make sure that you don't convert this page into a PDF. The next IRS form is the 990G Part 2. This keeps track of all your registrations and your fundraising activities. We've separated all fundraising activities into their own account codes to make it easier to keep track of this and to fill out this form. You want to make sure every account code that you put into fundraising matches the IRS schedules to your SOA. For IRS Form 990F and I, IRS Form 990F is used for Canadian chapters, and IRS Form 990I is used for U.S. chapters. This is to keep track of all awards, door prizes, drawings, stipends and scholarships, and sponsorships and contributions. You want to make sure that all SOA matches the IRS schedules, and you don't want to convert this into a PDF. This is one of the main documents that the auditors review, so you want to make sure you keep it in that format. The next worksheet that we're going to cover is the net asset roll forward worksheet. The following should balance and equal. The beginning net assets should always match the previous fiscal year ending net assets. You don't want to put in your own amount. This should always match what was reported last fiscal year, just so that it rolls forward accurately. And you don't want to convert this into a PDF either. The next worksheet is a taxable income worksheet. This will cover all advertising related to unrelated business income. Unrelated business income examples are newsletter ads, website ads, sponsorship ads for any type of event that you have. You want to make sure the amount recorded on your SOA matches this worksheet as well. And the next topic we're covering is 1099s. For 1099s, you should provide a 1099 for independent contractors paid $600 or more during the calendar year. The best practice for this is to request a W-9 before paying any vendor, individual, or independent contractor before you're providing that payment, just so you have that W-9 and you're not waiting till January 15th to get those documents in. So always request a W-9 before you're submitting a payment to any individual who's providing services to you guys. A blank W-9 form is also found on the CLR website for you to provide to that vendor, individual or independent contractor. And the next topic are chapter rebates. Chapter rebates are sent to the chapters twice a year. They're submitted after your 1099. So if you submit an accurate and correct 1099s, you'll receive your first rebate check within February or March. And then your next rebate check will be within September after you complete your fiscal year-end reporting accurately and completely, and that would be after PWX. So the next topic we're covering is chapter accounting software. To go through a quick demo. Um, so we're going through QuickBooks Online, doing a quick demo and a walkthrough of what the screen looks like. So this is the main dashboard and home page. You're going to see your invoices, expenses, profit and loss, bank accounts here, sales, anything else that you want to add, you're able to customize this. To change any of your logos or the APW name to your chapter name, you just simply click on there and then you'll go through and you can modify the company name. You want to make sure the legal name, EIN, and pretty much everything else on this page stays the same, but you can change your company name. I've created also a guidebook to cover all of this information, so you have a more in-depth knowledge of going through all of this, all of the details on the account and settings page. And then for here, if you click on this plus sign here, you want to go through and you can enter in any invoices, receive payments, sales receipts for clients, vendors. You can do expenses, bills, vendor credits. You want to make sure you don't touch anything in the employees since you guys won't have employees. And then the other section, you can keep track of bank deposits, transfers, journal entries. This is just a shortcut way of getting to it instead of using any of these on your left-hand side. And there's also this gear icon here. That's a shortcut tab. It keeps track of all your account and settings, which we just went through when you clicked on the APWA logo. And then you can manage users from here, the chart of accounts. You can create any list that you want. And this is where you're going to be importing and exporting data if you have any data to import and export, such as vendors, bank data, clients, any products and services. Chart of accounts, you want to make sure you keep the same. I've already, if you go into the accounting field on your left-hand side, all of your chart of accounts have already been pre-uploaded into QuickBooks Online, so you don't need to make any modifications. These are all of the chart of accounts that we have on the statement of activities. So you want to follow what's listed on here. You're able to create sub-accounts, but you want to make sure you don't touch any of the actual chart of accounts to make sure it follows what's on the statement of activities. And to simply reconcile your bank account or code any transactions, you just click on the bank account, and then if you say you want to code this transaction, the category will pull up all of the chart of account codes for you. You just simply click on it to what you think it is or what you should know what it is. If you want to split the transactions into multiple transactions or account codes, you just click on split and then you go into each category and you put in what account code it should belong to and the amount that it should follow. And then you just click add and then you're done from there, and it's all reviewed, such as these interest deposits have been reviewed and they're already coded to account 460, which is interest income. So they will be all moved here, and so you won't have as much to review down here. But this is the only way that it will be coded to your statement of activity chart of account code. So you want to make sure you're following this and you're keeping this up to date when you do get QuickBooks Online. So that's a general guideline of going through QuickBooks Online, but I will be sending out more details once the chapters are ready to be implemented and to ready to be go live. Right. So this is the Chapter Leaders Resources site. This is the other demo and walkthrough that I'll be taking you through. So Any of the finance and compliance documents that you would normally ask me for, you can also find on the CLR site. So if you go into CLR site, you can click on finance and compliance and it'll automatically take you to the financial reports. All of these reports are uploaded for you. So if you're needing any of these reports right now, you can go onto the CLR site and it will be pre-uploaded. Say you click on the statement of activities. This form is already provided to you for fiscal year 2019. And if you go through it, all of the account codes are pre-filled for you with the descriptions and the types of worksheets and schedules that you would need. I've also created a monthly SOA tab for you to keep track of on a monthly basis, along with statement of activity account code examples so you know what exactly to code for each chart of account, and a miscellaneous account breakdown because you want to make sure whatever you put into your miscellaneous account, you're recording onto this tab. And then there's also this new worksheet that I've created for you guys, which is the financial FAQs, which covers pretty much everything that we've went over in the PowerPoint. It's just a breakdown of everything that you would need to know and helpful information for you guys to go through. I've made this worksheet where you can just click on the actual table of contents and it'll take you directly to that page and the topic that you want to cover. And then the next tab is the insurance tab. So if you need to request a COI, this is where you would get your COI request form. And you would simply just fill this form out and you would submit it back to me and I will get the broker to process the COI for you. Contracts, it just gives you the thresholds, which is $10,000 is when you need to send to the national for us to review. Anything less than that, you can provide us a copy, but any amount, we're more than willing to review it for you. The next tab is taxes. So this is where you'll get your 1099 input form, the signed W-9 form if you need to provide it to anyone that requests it for you guys, a blank W-9 form, and Schedule 91 is used for Canadian chapters only. The next tab is the compliance tab. This is where you'll find the corporate banking resolution. This is what you would need to provide to your bank in order to open up a new account or update any bank signature cards, things of that nature. And it also provides a rebate eligibility matrix of how the rebates are calculated, and a new treasurer's welcome packet is also provided here. So this is a great tool to use for anyone who's a treasurer, any branch treasurer who's wanting to get information quickly if they're not able to get it from me right away. So yeah, this was the Chapter Leaders Resources site, and it's on the PowerPoint as well, and it gives you all the main tabs that you're covering, or the tabs that you would use to get any documents that you would need for financial resources, insurance contracts, or tax-related inquiries. And thank you. And if you need to contact me, you can email me at mpatel@apwa.net, or you can or you can contact me at 816-595-5276. Thank you.